This is an interactive video lesson aimed at effectively, professionally and sensitively communicating Ukrainian culture to audiences in the host country, using appropriate digital, narrative and visual tools. Having this competence means that you can present Ukrainian culture through storytelling and authentic creative expressions, promote cultural projects using digital channels and social media, facilitate intercultural dialogue through local artistic events and initiatives, reinterpret Ukrainian traditions in the form of modern cultural products, avoid stereotypes and represent culture in a contemporary and respectful manner. To develop this skill, we invite you to watch a short animated video, learn more about communicating Ukrainian culture in host countries, and then take a self-assessment exercise.
Welcome to the lesson on communicating Ukrainian culture in host countries. In this stage, we learn how we can make our cultural identity known not only through art or creative products, but through messages that create real connections with the local audience. Cultural communication is not just about promotion or advertising, it includes education, awareness raising and building authentic dialogue between people. Through stories, images, and events, we can help the public discover who we really are, not through clichés or stereotypes, but through authentic human experiences, by demonstrating the passion and values that define our culture. It is essential to understand that every cultural message must be adapted to the context of the audience and the environment in which it is conveyed. Thus, an exhibition can become a tool for connection, a workshop can be a space for dialogue, and a visual story can awaken empathy and deep understanding. Effective cultural communication involves not only conveying information, but also creating memorable emotions, experiences, and connections that build bridges between different people and cultures. In addition to the visual aspect, it is important to use audio or interactive channels, online guided tours, podcasts, vlog-type videos, animations, or VR experiences that allow the audience to feel the culture. Communication must be holistic, integrating all the senses and media available to convey the authenticity of the culture. In addition, every action, every image, and every message contributes to shaping the authentic and dynamic image of Ukrainian culture, demonstrating that tradition and modernity can coexist harmoniously and inspire a global audience. Storytelling is one of the most powerful methods of cultural communication. Data and information can educate, but stories create emotion, closeness, and understanding. For example, the story of a hand-sewn blouse is not just about a piece of clothing, it tells us about the woman who sewed it, about her community, about the generations that passed on patterns and symbols, about values, experiences, and traditions that have survived over time. An old photograph can be the basis for an animation about childhood or homesickness. An object can become the symbol of an exhibition or a creative workshop that links the past to the present. Every detail of a cultural object has a story that can inspire, educate, and create emotional connections. A simple exercise: choose the object from Ukrainian culture that is most representative to you and write at least 3 sentences that reveal its story, who created it, what it means, what emotions it conveys. Expand this story with images, sound or video so that the audience can fully experience it. Cultural stories can also be connected to universal themes: courage, perseverance, solidarity, or community. In this way, cultural communication not only informs, but also creates common ground for intercultural understanding and empathy. Storytelling becomes a tool for education, awareness raising, and identity promotion in a way that engages and moves the audience. Social media and the online environment are currently the fastest and most effective channels for cultural communication. With a phone, a laptop, and a little creativity, you can document the creative process, explain the significance of your traditions, and build online communities of passionate supporters. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest allow for visual storytelling. Short videos, captioned images, personal texts, and audio stories can reach thousands of people around the world. Using these channels, you can create interactive campaigns, challenges, tutorials, interviews, or live streams in which the audience can actively participate. You can transform the creative process into a visual and emotional experience that educates and raises awareness. Online communities thus become spaces for dialogue, exchange of ideas, and intercultural collaboration. It is essential to choose the right channels for your target audience and adapt the message, tone, and visual style so that they are authentic and captivating, while keeping the cultural identity intact. You can use specific hashtags, themed playlists, webinars, and discussion groups to extend the impact of your message and encourage active participation. In this way, culture is not only displayed, but also experienced and felt through the digital environment. Local events create unique opportunities for direct encounters between cultures, exhibitions, workshops, fairs, or festivals. There, people not only see creations, but also meet the person behind them, the story and the experience that brought them to life. These direct interactions allow for authentic dialogue, giving the public the chance to understand cultural values, traditions, and symbols from a personal perspective. Many professional collaborations begin this way, through simple conversations at an art stand or in a community workshop. Events allow for the simultaneous experience of the visual, auditory, and narrative, creating multisensory experiences that raise awareness and educate. In addition, participating in local events helps to adapt cultural messages to the community environment and directly understand the needs, interests, and perceptions of the audience. Community dialogue is not just a passive exposure, but an active, continuous, and interactive process that builds trust and lasting connections. These events can also be documented and transformed into digital content to extend their global cultural impact. Communicating culture does not mean museumification or preserving traditions in a rigid form. Culture is alive and adapts to the present time, and identity must be understood as a dialogue between tradition and modernity. Traditions can become interior design products, book illustrations, jewelry, or modern decorations that preserve the original symbols but transform them into a form that is useful and attractive to contemporary audiences. Local collaborations, the involvement of cultural influencers, participation in festivals or community projects contribute to building an authentic and dynamic image of Ukrainian culture. The public appreciates creations that preserve traditional symbols but present them in a modern, practical, and visually attractive form. It is essential to explore new combinations of traditional techniques and contemporary approaches so that the cultural message is not only respected but also experienced by the public. Each adapted project can become an opportunity for learning and intercultural connection, transforming culture into an interactive and accessible experience for all ages and social groups. It is crucial to avoid stereotypes when communicating culture. Presenting it as limited to traditional costumes, nostalgic images, or clichés can diminish the authenticity and relevance of the message. Show your culture as a contemporary reality, with modern artists, women entrepreneurs, digital creators, and active communities, where tradition and modernity coexist harmoniously. Avoiding stereotypes also means being aware of the sensitivities of the audience, colors, symbols, social and historical perceptions. In this way, cultural messages become more complex, nuanced, and relevant. Instead of simplifying or generalizing, we can show the diversity and richness of culture by providing real examples and authentic stories that inspire and create deep emotional connections. Contemporary stories and images help combat prejudice and create an open, inclusive, and empathetic cultural dialogue. Honest communication brings people together and creates real connections between cultures. When you tell your authentic story, people feel the passion, values, and identity that underpin your creations. Authenticity in communication means showing who you really are, sharing the experiences, traditions, and emotions that define you, without trying to copy or conform to external expectations. Now we invite you to the quiz section, where you can test your knowledge by answering the following questions. Tick the correct answer. Regardless of whether you chose correctly or incorrectly, you will be given an explanation for the answer. Let's begin. That's all for this lesson. Thank you for participating. Follow the program in eStudio to deepen your key skills for entrepreneurship in the cultural and creative sectors. Upon successful completion of the course, you will receive the digital badge Success in CCS, I Can Do It.